fruition. The Mirana was already banned out. Your Skywrath Mage is also being removed, so if you're considering an aggro tri-lane, you may not really be feeling you've got enough to make it work. The middle lane Death Prophet versus Puck is going to be rather obvious. Centaur pickup, so there's our initiation, and also Mag's hero. This can go one-on-one with Funix Doombringer, which he ran as an off-lane Doombringer in the last game. So I'll assume we'll be in the same position this game, even though potentially they could put a Vorst onto the Doom, and Funix also does play a Puck. So anything can really switch around there. Puck doesn't want to lane up against a Centaur, though. There's no way they want to have that Puck against the Centaur.
Right.
The Doom will be fine.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see, because the other hero that's in my mind for either side really is Razor. Still hasn't gotten picked, and of course Team Empire can run that Wraith King as well as the Ancient Apparition on support. Whereas Na'Vi, if they pick up a Razor, they have a really strong set of 3-core. So I'm curious to see if they're going to pick it. I mean, so far into the draft, they haven't touched it at all, which kind of leads me to believe that they're overlooking it or they don't feel the need for it. But I think it'll complement either lineup really well here.
Silencer.
Boy, he's back again. He's back again.
Yeah. They really like that hero.
Hi, I don't blame him. But I didn't really feel the power. Like, I felt like premature BKBs having to come up from Resolution during the last game. But I didn't really see
10 seconds
the silencer like critically affecting the game. Most of the work was done by the heroes around him. He just became that semi-controller that made Team Empire worried about coming in.
I mean, I can certainly see that, but I also feel like Silencer is just one of those heroes that you don't see the impact of too well. It's like it's very easy to be misguided of how much impact it could actually have. It's like a Viper too, because sometimes it's just like this Silencer hero, if he gets really farmed, he just rules out certain things from the equation. Like all of a sudden, this push that you wanted to assemble, or these heroes just simply pushing out the lane with multiple set of heroes, it just cannot come to pass anymore because of the potential Silencer turnaround. And like ganking this hero too is just so risky, and which is why the whole Aegis thing is a really big deal, although it is on Radiant this time, so we probably won't see that. But overall, you know, it's a nice pickup. I mean, Empire, once again, they have really big ultimates that they want to rely on in team fights, with Centaur Stampedes to initiate and Wraith King most importantly. And you know, with the Aghanim Scepter, you burn out Wraith King's mana before he gets to cast spells, and all of a sudden Reincarnation is a no factor.
You're right. In this game, I could see him being a lot more effective.
Yeah.
But FNG was playing the Wraith in the last game, so well. Yeah. Anyway. I've been slapped down on both my points today during our broadcast.
No. I see the valid points in it.
It's perfectly legit, man. It's perfectly legit. Sometimes I get myself carried away with my own rando thoughts.
5 seconds.
Anyway.
No, I think the concerns are good, and this time looks like the concern for Empire is Leshrac, which has been getting picked more. I think I've seen Team Tinker pick it a lot more, because they like to have it with the Shadow Demon, and of course if you land the stuns it's always a great combo, but most importantly that Edict lets you split push towers really effectively. So
10 seconds
looks like they're worried about that on the side of Na'Vi, and both teams, I would say the drafts are strong. I'm still looking forward to a Razor though. I guess Na'Vi can't really pick it unless they want to run a Jungle Doom, or even actually that could be a support Silencer as well. So either teams, they could go for the Razor here.
I wouldn't put either past Na'Vi. At the same time, you've still got one of the greatest junglers in the game, which is the Enigma, which can still be selected by both.
That's true. That is very true. The problem with Enigma for Empire though is, 1, you're going up against Silencer, 2, you're going up against Rubik, 3, you're going up against Doom, and 4, their support, like
they
it's an
had
Ancient
in the last game.
Support.
In fact, the Silencer wasn't a problem during the last game.
10 seconds remaining.
We had Enigma getting 3 4-man black holes
5 seconds
during last game.
Whoa, against the Silencer?
Yep, against the Silencer.
Are we talking about like a Silencer that was keenly watching out for that though? I mean,
well, it was a whole Silencer.
Oh, that guy is a bold player. You know, he wants to be at the front. So.
Oh well, he got caught. He got caught in almost every single one of those black holes.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
In fact, as you know, he was in actually every single one of those black holes. But Team Empire gonna go for Torski as their final selection. So they've got the roll-in initiation power coming out from the Tusker, as well as the Savior. Technically, well, I'd say technically he could snowball and protect everybody, but it doesn't really work that way when you're silenced, does it?
Practically speaking, it's very difficult to establish that.
There's also no easy way to get it like a combo off. Like you my shards might force someone to walk back closer towards the centaur, or buy more time for the ancient apparition to attack. But the chilling touch bonus damage, you don't really get it with harassment. Like, that's a core Wraith King we're in fact seeing here. I don't know how effective this Tuskar is really going to be up against the Na'Vi lineup, because I see Na'Vi's lineup having the ability to just kite them. Kite all of Team Empire. And I know I'm saying that about, like, Blink heroes as well as heroes that can snowball and drag everyone else with them, and the Ice Blast will be causing some problems. But you still got a large amount of maneuverability over on the Na'Vi lineup. And you get a large amount of control too, between the silences, between the Dream Call, between Ruby's Telekinesis, between the Global Silence, the SK Burrow Strike, and the mess he creates with the Epicenter, and even then Doom with his own ultimate. This is going to cause a lot of problems for Team Empire during the team fights.
Yeah, like, in terms of control, I definitely agree with your point there. I think
5 seconds remaining.
I think the best way to put it, though, is that Na'Vi have really, really strong counter-initiation potential. Like, they have really good turnaround. Because, once again, they don't just rely on big ultimates, but the presence of their heroes in general, and even small spells like Telekinesis or the Sand King's Burrow Strike, it can easily catch out like 2 to 3 targets with the Centaur Jump and the Sky Wraith King or something like that. So, unless they go on like a really critical hero that's isolated, Na'Vi will be able to turn around and cast big ultimates in the global and have Doombringer walk in and cause a lot of wreak and havoc. But at the same time, I'm not too sure how well they can kite Empire, because I feel like how Empire are gonna approach this game is after they get their levels on their cores, they're just gonna anchor in front of a tower with like the Death Prophet, and Death Prophet can't be too close because she has to watch out for the heavy potential burst of Na'Vi. But depending on the Tuskar's positioning and the level of Sigil, which is the spell that makes that hero, Na'Vi's heroes, I think they're actually going to be the ones that get kited. I feel like they have good mobility in the sense that they have a lot of presence, so they can just push out lanes and walk around freely, and they're kind of tanky and hard to kill. But essentially it is a 5-man lineup, I think. I don't think their cores are that good at split pushing or taking objectives alone.
Well, right now, man, I'm just waiting to see it, because I can understand your points. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of Rubik countering Centaur's movements. I've seen a lot of Centaur ulti steals as well.
Oh, that's true. That's a very good point.
Which makes me flag the fact that Na'Vi could, in fact, a lot of it's going to still come down to like the control coming off from FNG is that Rubik. Because it's the perfect thing to steal. The Centaur triggers ultimate, he blinks himself in, then you still got a moment before he gets the hoof stomp off where you can steal the Stampede.
That's true. I think we can settle in the middle on this one. See, Toby, this guy right here, Empire Solo, that's a 7k MMR player right there. You see that hero that he's playing right now? It's called the Tuskar. You know, he has this snowball ability. It's a pretty good spell.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just simplify everything and say it's gonna come down to Solo and how hard he snowballs this game.
Oh man.
Can we settle on that, old friend?
Yes. Well, let's agree. Let's agree to stop there at least. I don't know. Yes, that can be classed as a settlement.
He's got nice ward being placed by Empire already.
Yeah, he's already got an aggressive observer ward down there. It's rather restricted. I always wonder when teams come down here and they plant this ward, if it's not better just to cut this tree instantly. I guess it's a tango charge.
Yeah.
Who really cares? But you get this much extra vision by doing so.
You know the problem though is that when you do that, it becomes a really obvious tell of where your wards are.
True.
Especially because teams have patterns, right? And teams study each other through replays. So if they actually did it for like the last 2 games and all of a sudden they cut a tree in game 3, you know, like they're not hiding any tricks there. They're showing that word in full vision even though you can't see it.
I remember Aoi actually told me about that before every single game of the international.
The battle begins.
He said he had a book and he went through every single support player and where they placed their wards and went through like the timings of it all and had like the book of secrets, basically.
Yep.
And, he didn't remove the tree, but the ward was removed. FNG comes down and guesses perfectly for it. It's a rather obvious ward location, though. And if you're going an off-lane kind of lane, you want to have the observe ward around here or anywhere really in that circle area. If you put it a little bit further up, like up here, towards the rune area, it means you can't come close to really contest anything. And they're actually going to try this dual lane off-lane. I'm not a fan of, like, a double melee lane up against a silencer of all people too.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. 2 strength heroes going up against silence. You either have to kill the silencer like 3 times in the lane to just maintain sustain, or or you'll just have to die a couple times here and there trying to control the creep wave. Yeah, it's never a good idea to double melee against the tri-lane unless it's like really high kill potential. The thing with Centaur and Tuskar is they have really good kill potential, but at level 2. So if they don't lose a lot of life points before level 2, they can commit to some sort of all-in. But once again, this Na'Vi lineup is really good at turning things around, and with this tri-lane with 2 sets of stuns coming out from their support heroes, and Hubbles being, he's an intel hero, but he's got average movement speed, and he will require some sort of commitment to dive into him. I do see a potential 2-for-1 kind of exchange if Empire does commit too heavily with just these 2 heroes.
I'm still just thinking, like, why the hell did they not get that Mirana earlier on? Like, why is...
Yeah, that's a silent hero, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also just one of these things. It was banned out in the second phase.
Yep.
But it just works so much better with the Tuskar as far as selections go. But yeah, this dual lane. I'm not even seeing Solo leveling up Anthony yet. I don't know if he's waiting for the snowball. Now Vanskor and Solo finally see each other, and Avort instantly moves up. As Avaro strike, he went Iron Shard to start with, but this cleans up the tree line, which means Avort can still keep moving over. The hoof stop into Avort, but there's no double edge. He used the hoof stop instead, and FNG picking back up again. Burrow strike, back off cooldown. Round 2 into Mag, and he will take a fall here. First blood going the way of Vanskor. Solo could attempt Ice Shards, but he's not going to get a kill with any of this. He can stop some clarities, but that'll be all. And this is just what could happen. You just get guided around a little bit. You use a hoof stomp, and then there's nothing left to give.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, it looked really bad for Empire for a moment, but with that Ice Shard, he actually blocked out the Ruik from being able to cast Telekinesis on the Tuskar right away. So he survived. Unfortunately for the Centaur, he did fall, but he not only took out a lot of life points in the supports, which forces out regen, but also look at this. They got basically a 2.5 to a triple wave built up. So now Empire is actually going to sap a lot of EXP, and they will get the level 2 that they're looking for the extra kill potential coming out of the Centaur Tuskar combo. So the lane really starts here.
I love how we're both sitting on opposite sides of this draft right now, as far as like who we think is actually really having the upper hand. I am seeing, however, like a Wraith King getting a hell of a lot of farm up on top lane.
Tower is under attack.
He's given himself a double stack on the side too, so he can deny up the creep wave. But Funny Sloppy also farming. Oh, hello middle lane. Should check that one out a little bit earlier. Resolution goes down to a haste gank from Vanskor, able to get the Burrow strike out. And then he not actually having even a single point up in Rift. He went for the illusionary all maxed, and that's able to get the kill. While on bottom lane, Mag, I don't know, last attack cancelling up the clarity, but he'll survive on 84 life points. Just seems like Na'Vi are the ones dictating the terms in the lanes right now.
Yeah, that hurts Mag quite a bit. I actually think that was a solve, and which forces him to now return to the base. Although he was probably gonna get zoned out anyway, but it was hard to tell because the silencer is low HP, and there could have been a kill attempt kind of thing going on. Oh, and Solo, he is going for it.
He's having a crack? Okay.
Oh, the movement speed.
Yep.
5 movement speed bonus. Turn around.
Has on him. An FNG just needs a telekinesis grab. Avort into the tree line. Solo, I think he's gone too deep. Fable, he doesn't have the aggro of the tower. If he tried to actually run up the other side and go around this direction, then 100% dead. I think Avort.
Yeah, honestly, it's weird to say, but if FNG actually committed to him somehow, he might have died too.
Get away from the creep wave, Avort.
Yeah.
He'll go back to base, but the Rubik is now going to find some good levels farming on the bottom lane. It seems like we're playing tag team. On the middle lane, Resolution and Dandy. Dandy able to phase shift out a little bit of the damage coming from Resolution. The first time I actually came towards that middle lane to watch what was going on, it was Dandy living on very, very low life, just trying to wait for the timing to phase shift dodge the Crib Swarm out from Resolution.
Yeah. So it's a nice thing for Puck to be able to do that. Most of the time, though, you can't really stop DP from farming. In this case, it's different. I think Dandy's already got 2 times the CS, and part of that is credited to the nice can coming out of the Sand King with the haste rune. But Resolution still doesn't have bottle, which is quite important here, because 4 minutes into the game, he's level 5 and he doesn't have any lane sustain right now. Means Dandy getting this invis rune means that he might actually just land another solo kill if Resolution's not careful. So this hurts a lot in this laning phase already.
Especially considering Danny's about to crack level 6. But Resolution saw the fact the invis rune was being picked up. So it's very obvious for him what's going on. And then you'll now just break free of the invis. While on bottom lane, Mag, what do you even do against this? You're getting cursed up, and you just force back. You lose half your life with 2 ability harassment. That was all that was. And that's a Centaur losing half his life. Snowball's going to come in. FNG trying to wait for it. He's going to have an extra health though, and that's going to be the double burrow strike. FNG needs to get himself out of this one. Then again with the Fade Bolt, they already get the kill over from the Centaur. Solo being silenced up, and he will also drop. On this bottom lane, FNG survives. He was right underneath that Centaur. This is the control factor. You want to run yourself in and snowball in. You went still solo on that Tuskar into the fight. There was no follow-up with the hoof stomp. And now you're going to have, like, oh, is this a Saturn Blast to help out? Funny comes in. Resolution's locked here. Yep, the Saturn Blast, the Orb damage. And Resolution's going to drop. He actually jumps up Dendy as well to the Illusionary Orb. The Ice Shard's trying to go, but a phase shift from Dendy will dodge Solo's attack. He's even got some extra help coming in as well. It's just Boots with a 4-1 charges up his sleeve. Careful with the courier. Solo maybe taking the bait. Not fully though. But that's still 5-0 now in favor of Na'Vi.
Yeah, Resolution is in a world of pain, simply put. He's just struggling so hard. He had to get a TP bought from one of his supports now. He's going back to the mid lane, but Dendy is so far ahead of him in net worth. It's about 1,000 over already, and a support just TP'd in to refresh his bottle without even sending it back. So the lane's already going so well for the side of Na'Vi. 5-0 in the kill score. But at the same time, you know, we haven't seen Empire really assemble yet in terms of either both supports roaming together or even Wraith King making his move, aside from just sitting in the lane so far. And speaking of the Wraith King, he did pick up a Midas recipe, and I think this is the correct choice.
Well, it's a correct choice as long as you can keep your space up. Like, if Na'Vi don't force the issue, which actually they can't really, can they?
No,
you're not going to bring down a tier 1 tower. The only thing you can do is really punish Team Empire for overextending themselves. Which is kind of what is all that's really happened on that bottom lane.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And of course at the mid lane you can gank this Death Prophet as much as you want, but so long as this hero gets levels and, I don't know, a mediocre amount of farm, which Resolution is getting, it's not good, but it's mediocre or it's a little bit worse. It will get better in time with tower pushing, because the hero just keeps pushing out waves and it's hard to see the hero as there's no creep wave to deal with.
Well, Silent. He's looking for a nice little thing to use his hand and bias on, but all he's got is a hill troll. Comes free and then realizes it was there. Yep, they got on Resolution. The Burrow from Banskol. And that was Resolution feeling nice about himself because he managed to get that DD rune from the top river. First time he got his bottle in, and he took the DD rune straight away. And then dies straight away. Funny, maybe a little bit of for him up on the top lane. Hellfire blunts into Cold Feet. He's still got his Scorched Earth up, and the Cold Feet doesn't stick him out.
So
he went down to 48 life points. Now Denny comes in, the Rip damage, he just wants to physically damage down the Snowball. Tried to protect, now he actually phased him. They hit from it too. The Ice Shards will lock Denny in here. He's got no more support, however, just trying to TP in. Bottle charge space. His Orb and Phase Shift is both off cooldown here. Orb, jump out, attacks Monster Silent, which will allow FNG to get the Fable kill off. FNG's the only one slowed up by the Reincarnation. And that's Reincarnation 7 minutes into the game, which means he's lost at 260 seconds. Mag, a double edge might be able to get the kill here. Dendy, phase shift. Oh, he went for the hoof stomp. The Snowball's coming in. I don't think he can reach him. He can go for Funning, but Denny's leaving. The Global Silence will be used, and there's no follow-up of Bubble, and he even steals the DD rune. It freshly spawned up. He got one bottle charge up. They took the Central Ward. Banskol, though, comes in. Triple Burrow strike. In for the Silence with the Warring Rift. And Banskol back in again. The Telekinesis needs a drop down. Stunned up Mag. This is a terrible fight for Team Empire. And a horrible 9 minutes for them. Funny just chases him down with the Scorched Earth. The hit will be there. But Dandy, he's got all the bubble and just commits the Dream File. Double kill for Dandy. 10-0. And things are falling apart for Team Empire.
Yeah, that was honestly, I didn't even know that kind of a bad scenario was possible. But with the Invis rune getting picked up in that exact spot and Banskol landing that monster Burrow strike, looking at a sub 9 minute blink dagger on this Sand King who didn't even stack jungle basically. This is ridiculous. They are off to such an amazing start, and I don't think you can even have asked for this kind of start.
I don't think you could have, man. But I can say they drafted for it.
Yeah, the draft is certainly strong, and Empire biting the bait really. Like the overextends at bottom. Once again, the amount of control coming out from bottom lane meant that any turnaround was possible, and now that Silencer is 6, it could come out to even worse forms against Empire. But I still think Empire is actually not out of it. it's a hard call really, but they still have all the towers, and it just goes to show that Na'Vi, they'll have to win another couple of fights with their lineup before they can really start pressuring towers.
Yeah, that I'll definitely agree with. Empire, we still haven't seen the effect of the Exorcism of Resolution, because he hasn't even leveled it yet. He's gone 3-0-4 in his build. And the Rage King, he died up on top lane. Sure, okay, that kind of stuff can happen. Whoops, like a bottom lane, that's cool. Missed the end of that one. The Blink Dagger Epicenter with a Burrow Striker, they take 3 heroes out the bottom lane. That's the worst fight I've missed today.
Well, you know, when something like that happens, you certainly do get an excuse to hit the tower, but oh, Padendi with the solo kill. Oh gosh, GG, well played.
10-minute GG!
That's a fast game.
That's a very, very fast game. You blink and it was over. Oh, that's